Subscribe to my channel.
Hello, how are you doing? It's a lovely week. I'm so excited to be with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ogo Hilary. I'm a social media expert and online business coach. I'm so excited to be with you today. In case you're watching the live, you can drop a comment and tell me where you're coming from. In case you're watching the replay, you can drop hashtag replay and also drop a comment and tell me where you're coming from. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm here to share value. And the title of my topic is Developing Mental Toughness as an Entrepreneur. Developing mental toughness as an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. As you transition, business will always test you, truth be told. As you transition, business will always test you. It might be the loss of an account, conflict with others, or much smaller issues that can ruin your confidence and chip away at your self-esteem. So what is this about? Mental toughness. And how can we get more of it? Before I proceed, let's give it a definition. Let's give it a definition. Mental toughness. Larry Smith, thank you for tuning in. Mental toughness is broadly perceived as the ability to deal with stressful situation and pressure and still act to the best of your ability, no matter how hostile or unpleasant the environment you find yourself in. I repeat, mental toughness is broadly perceived as the ability to deal with stressful situation and pressures and still act to the best of your ability, no matter how hostile or unpleasant the environment you find yourself in. Mental toughness can account for a variation of 25% with respect to quality of performance, which means it can have a huge impact on the outcome of a situation. Great impact. The mental tough are indeed at a huge advantage. Why? Because that grit helps them to persevere, to overcome challenges that would lead most to throw in the towel for good. Akoida, I'm a thank you for tuning in. I'm so excited. That's it. I don't know if you want to call it heart, and know that it separates the goods from the great. You can call it heart, but I always know that it separates the goods from the great. So now let's get to what matters. Is mental toughness or that heart of a lion something we are born with or not? A quick question. Is mental toughness or that heart of a lion something we are born with or not? The answer, in short, is not necessary. It is possible for humans to develop the drivers of mental toughness, including control, commitment, and confidence. Let's start with one. Focus on your fears. Focus on your fears. Thank you for tuning. One, focus on your fears. It's natural to avoid things you fear. It's very natural to avoid things that you fear. But what happens when you do is that you let those things control your actions. You let those things you try to avoid to control your actions, and essentially weakens you. The solution is rather obvious, and that is to get the control back by confronting your fears. By confronting your fears. By doing those things that scare you or that you think scares you. Obviously, you think that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything that scares you. I wouldn't cover myself in cockroaches to try and overcome a fear of those critters, for example. But if we are speaking about business and things you need to do, to help improve your business, then it is important to face the challenges directly. That is it. It is important to face the challenges directly. So if it is the fear of public speaking, of pitching, of confrontation, of saying what you mean, of risk, you get what I'm trying to say, you get the idea, then start exposing yourself to the difficult situation more and more. Engage in those fear zones. Engage in those fear zones. If you want to have any hope of conquering them, and know that you will probably end up realizing that they were not nearly as scary as you thought. Then 2, don't waste time in self-pity. Don't waste time in self-pity. Self-pity is not going to help anybody. One big aspect to being mentally tough is the ability to move on quickly from failure or setback, bad feelings, self-doubt, easy. In other words, to move faster and be agile and continue making progress in your business. Mistakes and setbacks and failures need to be seen as stepping stones rather than weight on our shoulders. We should see them as stepping stones rather than seeing them as weight on our shoulders. If your natural reaction is to feel weaker and to therefore deliver a weaker effort for a while after something goes wrong, then you need to retain yourself. You need to retain yourself. Those wasted hours of self-pity are good for nothing. Those wasted hours of self-pity are good for nothing, and will obviously only make things worse to get you stuck. Good and bad things will happen in circles. Good and bad things will happen in circles for your entire life. That is what you must face adversities. That's just the truth. That's just the transition of life. Christian, yeah, thank you for tuning. That's just the transition of life. You must face adversity. That's the circle of life. So be the catalyst to make the good things happen again, quicker, after those bad things happen. Your speed of recovery is vital to business success. Your speed of recovery is vital to business success. Having the capacity in a quick time frame to turn a negative experience into a positive one. That is the truth. Then 3, take control of your emotional responses. Take control of your emotional responses. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. There are 2 lessons at play here. Firstly, some things really are beyond your control. Some things are beyond your control. So accept that. Secondly, and much more importantly, you often need to be able to step outside of complex situations to see them for what they are and decide what to do. We become compromised when we are out of control. That is it. We become compromised when we allow situation to control us. We become compromised when we are out of control and when we cannot fathom the bigger picture, when we cannot see the bigger picture, we become compromised. To level out your emotional response can be hard. To level out your emotional response can be hard. But there are methods, including shifting your attention, focus, consciously trying to change the way you respond or interpret the event, or actively trying to alter the negative situation. For instance, if your first reaction is to shout, mourn, or criticize, try and alter that to reasoning. Try and alter that to reasoning. Finding solution and finding the positive or opportunities in bad news. Then 4, be prepared to change your mind. Be prepared to change your mind. Mental toughness is often associated with the dogged determination. Aja Ajuan, thank you for tuning in. Mental toughness is often associated with the dogged determination that you get from bosses, not quitting, or business bosses sticking to their guns with a single-minded attitude. While this is very often a fair association, when considering mental strength, we also have to consider that it includes the need to be flexible enough to bend in the right direction whenever required, to really cope with any situation. In other words, it might be necessary to completely change direction and strategy. The skilled boxer may find himself in a ring with an opponent who is wielding his usual strategy uselessly. Rather than keep charging forward and taking the punches, a more defensive approach may be called for, whereby he has to retreat and shows tremendous patience while looking for the openings. When it comes to business, it is no different. When it comes to business, it is no different. Why the stubborn often gets their way. Being stubborn in the face of strategy that is no longer working will result in failure. Being stubborn with strategy that is no longer working will result in big failure. To succeed, you have to recognize when change is needed and adapt quickly. It is a no-brain washer. But many people get stuck on this and end up spending long periods doing the wrong thing just because it is the familiar thing. That's where a lot of people get it wrong. Then 5, don't sweat the small stuff. William Baxley, thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much, brother. Don't sweat the small stuff. We deal with way too much information clutter. We deal with way too much information clutter nowadays. So be smart about focusing on what is important and dismissing or shelving for later. Focus on what is in front of you. That which is simply noise or not so present. Don't give attention to that. Mental tough individuals have an enhanced ability to prevent unwanted information from interfering with current goals. To be mentally tough, you must filter out those thoughts that are not important to the task at hand and are literally just pulling you off path, causing distraction. That is it. A simpler way to put this is don't sweat the small stuff. Keep your eye on the prize and make sure momentum towards your goal is your priority. Make sure momentum towards your goal is your priority. Don't feel guilty or forced to do everything. It's okay to sometimes or often ignore that which isn't helping you. Doesn't mean you are being selfish. Leslie, and thanks for tuning in. It doesn't mean that you're being selfish. No. Focus on what is helpful. Focus on what is in front of you that is going to bring positivity to your life. It just means that you have limited time and cannot let the unnecessarily keep getting in your way to distract you. Then 6, be yourself, but better version. Be yourself, but better version. Aspiring to train your mind to be mentally tough or tougher does not mean becoming a cold, emotionless person. Far from it. It's more of a path to understanding what is important and how to strive where others or your previous self could not cope all that well. That's being a better version of yourself. Mentally tough people have a sense of self-belief over which they have more control than the average person. That is a greater awareness that they can control their destiny. And that is a destiny that is not at the mercy of all of those challenges and setbacks which are thrown into the mix on such a regular basis. The wisdom that comes with age can lead to greater mental strength, but we do know that we can train ourselves to be tougher at any age. That is the truth. We can train ourselves to be tougher at any age. So for anyone captaining the ship of a startup or established company, spend time getting stronger. Where you feel you need to because the reality is that the mentally tough go further in life. And mental toughness is in fact an essential entrepreneurial skill. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so excited to be with you today. Thank you, Sidney, for another day. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome. My name is Ogohila. I'm a social media expert and online business coach. I help network marketers and business owners with tips and strategies to build a solid network marketing business online and to know their target market and prospect using online business tools that can be used on all the social media platforms to generate leads and make more sales. So if you would like to learn more about working effectively, thinking critically, and getting real results in your business, then I strongly recommend getting access to the free 10-day online recruiting bootcamp to discover how to build your business using attraction marketing. Click on the learn more below. Enter your email and the bootcamp will be delivered to your email immediately. You will learn all about the specific tools and techniques I use to connect with prospects online. So you never have to act desperate, chase down or strong arm prospects, or deal with cold calling and rejection ever again. This method allows you to build your business automatically, where prospects reach out to you instead of you having to reach out to them. The bottom line is that in today's age, you don't need to be pushy, obnoxious, or overly aggressive to build a successful network marketing business. So if you are ready to get started, click on the Lemon right now and enter your email to get the free 10-day online recruiting bootcamp now. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click now to get the free 10-day online recruiting bootcamp. Thank you so much.
Subscribe to my channel.